Welcome everyone to Arcane Recovery.
Oh shit, we're already recording.
Yeah, we are already.
Hey.
Hey, that's my bit.
Yeah, Soul's bit.
Oh my gosh. Arcane Recovery.
I have an idea. Let's just say silence so nobody says a thing after.
Welcome to our Jake.
It's Arcane Recovery
Well-
after a week.
Yes.
Hour.
That's what I was thinking.
Welcome to Arcane Recovery, where this is an after talk show of the previous two episodes of episode 13 and 14. Where with
I did the math.
Yes. Yeah. Last week was a lot for us, so we decided to just switcheroo this Arcane Recovery and begin with it.
There's an ant on my mic.
Oh. What?
That is crazy. Yo, dude.
It's huge.
Dude, that is a huge
Get
ant.
brother off the mic.
Get off of there.
Well,
Eat them.
that goes to show you the apartment life.
I really
That was
hope,
our special guest.
I really hope that all we hear on Adam's mic is
That would be awesome. Dude, that'd be great.
Featuring special guest
The ant.
Anthony.
I was going to say that.
Okay,
Anthony.
Paul Rudd.
That was crazy. That was such a large ant. Man.
Big ant.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I have the power to control bugs, I guess.
Yeah. So
Man.
a lot happened. You guys got shit done. You're finally
Finally,
yeah.
got shit done.
Took us
God.
6 sessions.
That's what happens when we have just a day to
Yeah.
get information. We're like,
Exactly. No,
Give us
actually,
time limits more often. No, that was a joke. Don't do it. Thank you.
well. So speaking of which, what was some of your favorite parts of these episodes?
Hmm.
Who wants to start
Where you
first?
going? Normally we go.
Keith.
I really enjoyed just like being there for Brian. I had no clue what's going on, but he's gonna threaten a bunch of people in a guild. Fuck it, I'll do it too.
Oh my god.
I'm catching myself up on the contract. Just skip me right now. I need to reread it.
Cool. Adam.
Oh, which
Gosh,
kind?
there's so much that happened. I personally think one of the things that was my favorite part that I'm very interested in. Well, it's two things kind of. It's what the heck Brian needs me for. I got really confused. He keeps telling me there's a reason. I'm like, I don't know. That's scary when you say there's a reason. And also Gael's packing was crazy. I was like, what?
Yeah.
My theories on that are wild. So I'm very intrigued by what's about to happen with that
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah, I think you could tell us Jake / Brian, where I think it was just like everyone that Brian up at this point has trusted to a degree.
And I was
Unless he has more secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, Brian just grabbed the people that he trusts the most out of the group because I mean he doesn't. He had one connection with Elxador that one time, but also he's such like a lawful stick up the butt dude.
Stick up the butt. Whoa.
In Brian's opinion, not mine.
They just kissed.
And then I mean, barely any
over the
interaction with
table.
Nissa, and roughly the same with Gael. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It made sense.
Lycan was there.
I was there because I said I'm gonna go where Leo goes.
Well,
Ooh.
and Brian had no issue with that. That's the thing,
Mhm.
though. He wasn't against it.
He just
So I'm
likes
just
me
neutral.
more.
That's okay.
Well, not neutral. It's just he wanted just Leo for a particular reason that you'll all find out soon enough, I'm sure.
What is? I'm scared. I'm
Jesus.
scared. My boy's gonna die.
But then when more people started joining, he was like, "All right, you can join if you want to, Sig, I guess." So
And then everyone
That was
came
that.
on.
yeah.
The gang's all here.
Anyway, Sophia.
I think I enjoyed seeing Nissa open up more. That was
also
something I
really cool.
enjoyed.
Yeah. Like you.
What do you want me
Well-
to say?
well, no,
Everyone just like
that-
looked. Just so everyone knows, everyone got quiet and then looked in my direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about it.
Yeah,
Reveal.
you're opening up more. You have anything to say about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Reveal your backstory.
Those are
All
my
of it.
favorite moments.
Well, yeah, but
That's all you said.
I enjoyed seeing Nissa open up more.
I think it
Just
was-
so the viewers know, I have a cute little cough going on. So if you hear some sexy hacking in the background, it's just that's just me.
just little old me.
This is little old me.
To bounce off that, I like that moment for the aspect of the fact that both the DMs were getting to finally have a roleplay moment.
Yeah.
Like both these characters are like kind of behind that, like, all right, I need to do storytelling first and then those characters will do their thing. Like it's behind that wall of having to do the storytelling for everything. So I thought it was really cool that like the story took on a sidebar and then you went over here to actually just have both of the characters that are behind the DMs be able to actually talk to each other and show some form of their story or just have a moment with each other, which is not usually seen very often, which is cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to go off of that with that scene specifically, I loved getting to do that, because for those of you at home that aren't aware, like Nick and I are roommates. Like we literally have lived together for the past 4 years.
Yeah,
and we have been best friends ever since that point. And it's like we've had our own like moments where we get to like interact, and we make out in the corner. As he said,
why'd you tell him?
Shit. It's not. Wait. But yeah, so I really enjoyed getting to like just have a connection moment with my best friend who literally sits right across the table from me, of us going like, "Hey, we're friends, right? Why?"
Yeah.
and just having that interaction, I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't know. We were just kind of together ever since. I don't know if we actually formed a bond.
Jesus.
No. Yeah. Well, no, I like me. I really loved it because I know that this is probably, it was like the third or fourth time I said like, oh, Elxidor's from Zillionak and that's from the slums and all that. But like I thought it was a really good moment for like a connection, because with how Nissa was like, well, I'm kind of in a similar situation with Brian where I have my own magistrate and I'm being treated very poorly. And it was like, well, hey, so was I. But also to go straight back to episode 1 where I had my death save, where I talked about my memory. So
God, that was episode 1.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
yeah, we should do more death saves.
Don't you worry. Arc 3's coming.
Don't worry. Well, I mean, if you guys go to the fight ring, maybe Brian will just get knocked the fuck out and we'll get some memories. Yeah, but but I thought it was a really good moment where he could just be like, well, yeah, like we're actually travel back a bit. I forget what exactly you said, but it was like, or it was about being selfless. And like there was the difference between you not knowing that in any point of your backstory and your journey through here, and then Elxidor being that type of person, be like, yeah, I'm in it for the people. Like that's what I care about. And
being loved with condition versus not.
Yes.
Aww.
Yeah.
You're so cute.
Yeah, and then it was, and then also like in between this week, Haven and I were talking, and then I had this little epiphany moment where I was just like, man, there's a lot of things that Elxidor like is trying to wrap his mind around, and we got to a point where how everyone morally gray is in the party except Elxidor.
Yeah. It was really interesting when we were comparing, because
No,
like we were talking about like the crazy. Like it was something we were just talking about. Like it's interesting how the party interacts amongst itself, and like Nick was like, oh, like I don't know like why like this certain thing is like going this way, and I was like, well, can we just like pause for a second and can we recap like who's actually in the party? Nissa, who's very mysterious. There's a bunch of things going on behind there. Very clearly doesn't have anything against killing people. Sig, the literal night rend of Gelgrados. Brian, a convicted felon. Leo, a guy who accidentally kills people whenever he uses his magic.
Sorry.
Lycan, somebody who's very against law of society and very free with that. And then Gael, who has now started forming their own justice and how that looks. And like, then there's just Elxidor, who's like, yeah, I used to go to the soup kitchen every now and then and really pay back to the community. And I think that's
like, the Boy Scout.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's evident whenever you think about it like that.
Yeah, it's really good dynamic.
Yeah.
It gives him like the auto leader role out of the group because he's so figured out compared to everyone else.
He's very papa.
Yeah.
Papa.
You are like papa.
Yeah.
But Ari, what was your favorite?
Yes. Kind of hard in a way because favorite is like kind of a strong word for. I would say that more the story consequence of Gale going to the Prosopone is my favorite bit. Maybe not. I mean, that experience was awesome. However, I was like real life heart pounding shaking the entire time. So it's like, wow, I loved that. No, I didn't, but it was really cool. And what I love about it, and I'm glad that I sort of rushed into doing that because I think it's what Gale would do. And what I was hinted at afterward with Gale going and packing and no one knows what that means, except for me. I think that it's allowed me to have a turning point with this character because I was talking, Nick and I were talking a little bit on just texting back and forth about some plans that I have for this episode because I thought they might be curveballs for him. And fun fact, they were definitely a little bit. And and we were talking about the idea of setting status quo, and that especially as an actor, I'm very like set in the idea that like a character must want something to be interesting. And to have external goals. And I think a lot of Gale's growth and movement and things have either been completely internal or away from the party. And I'm really excited for what this situation means in their development. So it was my favorite for that reason. I also loved the conversation between Nissa and Alxidor, and particularly that moment of like, they're just talking about blah, blah. Are we friends? Like that just shocked me to my core in just an amazing way. So like gorgeous storytelling, you guys. That was very rambly of me, but it's like 11 a.m. and here we are.
Hey, we got energy, and that's good.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part was getting to see Atlas and Gale talk, because it's really interesting. And I was talking with Nick a little bit about this over this week. I thought it was interesting to see how Atlas was the one who chose Iago Cross.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about that. And holy shit, that makes me... thoughts.
It was very interesting because I was like... Because, I mean, so for those of you at home, I mean, Nick and I have been... we've said this multiple times. We've been working on this for like 2 years. Nick and I have an entire document that is devoted to just deity related things and gods. And we have an entire separate, we have a whole folder devoted to that. We have an entire separate document that has all of the champions, and there is 5 champions per one god.
Holy shit, that's more than I thought.
Yeah, so we have an absurd amount of notes on all of these people. And Atlas the Obsequious was one of the ones that we had since the beginning of writing.
Yeah, he was a character that oh my god.
Yeah, you brought him over.
Well, yes, because quick travel back to shout out to my boys Will and Christian and Corey, I think.
Those are his friends from home.
Yeah, my friends from home. But we remember that little campaign that I did where we did it was the dungeon crawl.
Yeah, we did a big dungeon crawl that Nick wrote.
Oh, and also Will. There's a Will M and there's a Will T. There are 2 Wills.
Yeah, 2 different Wills.
And then in this dungeon crawl campaign, they discovered this underground city that belonged to the Yuan Ti, and
snake people.
Oh yeah, and it was like my whole thing was like a Bodak was going to be the BBEG. It was like a really low level campaign. And one of the things that I had for it was that Atlas was going to be an NPC that you guys were going to meet because he worked for a Nightwalker. And then that kind of evolved to whenever I ran a campaign for my girlfriend and friends, I had him as a champion of this Nightwalker again. And he's a good guy now. So he's not working for a Nightwalker, guys. He's working for Karmos. So
not everything is what it seems.
Yeah, and so
I feel
yeah. So then, then there was like Karmos with a death domain, and I'm like, you know what? This guy needs an appearance, so let's put him in.
Yeah.
And
so it was really cool to get to see the fact of like Gale was like, oh, I'm coming to talk to you. Like, I need to figure this out. And then he was like, I made the choice that Iago was going to be the person. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was so shocked. But yes, like one of the reasons why it's so, I really like getting to see those characters finally be brought to life. Like, it's really cool to like, cause to have that picture from Pinterest for 2 years, then to just be like, oh, this is like a guy who like does things in our world and actually is a thing. So really cool. Nick is now showing the cool art that we have for him. It's very sick as fuck.
Okay, that's actually very similar to how I.
Yeah, he does very much have
I was also gonna say like
go my brain.
Scorpion almost.
Yes.
Ooh.
I do.
Okay.
Like from Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
Scorpion. Yes, I absolutely see that.
Nah, the bug.
He could have meant from Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was thinking Spider-Man.
Oh.
Yeah, we was thinking Spider-Man.
the bug. He has a huge pincer in the bag. But yeah, that's why it was my favorite. I really enjoyed getting to see that. I'm glad we got to share the art because it's fucking sick.
Yeah. I would say my favorite part is actually, I wouldn't, it's in the favorites, but it's more of like the DM is terrified moment where you guys decided to potentially climb a wizard's tower. You know, for those who played Baldur's Gate 3, you know, or like any, I'm going to enter a wizard tower to, you know, be like, yeah, let's climb it. What could go wrong?
I see no issues.
Yeah. Well, because like whenever you guys were asking, it's like, oh, how many balconies there are? I knew there were 3, so I wanted to be like, there's 2 redacted balconies. Because I knew as soon as I said the third one, you guys were like, let's go to the third one.
Like
Well, it
doesn't
actually made me personally want to go up even more when you said redacted 2. I was like, I'm definitely gonna go in the third one then. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. It's like you look up and there's that just like black sensor bar. And it's like,
I wonder what's under there.
Yeah. And then there was Brian going up to the entire guild to be like, where's my friends? And he's like, no.
he said it just like that.
Yeah, when you put it like that,
Arg, where's my friends?
Arg, where's
I
my
love how it
friends?
slowly transitioned.
Where be my besties?
That's awesome.
That's funny.
Arg, my homies.
Jake, did you share a favorite?
I did not.
Go,
Yes.
go ahead.
My favorite part I can't go into too much detail about right now because it was when everyone left the room, and it was just a solo conversation with me and Nick, and we had a nice lovely little chat. And this contract is very well typed up. I will say it's very well written, and I'm going to forget parts of it, and Brian's gonna break something, and I'm gonna be like, "Ah, shit, no!" And then I'll deal with the consequences later.
Nick's gonna sit across the table with pince nez and just be like,
Yeah. You see this book? I have notes now.
I don't want to break anything, but I'm going to forget something.
I mean, you said it was
unfortunately.
well written. Let's hear it.
Well, and for those of you at home, I don't know if they realize that like normally the way we operate is like we would have time to like in between sessions to like kind of hear like back to our episodes, but because it's only been a week and we're kind of trying to crank some stuff out, we really haven't. So typically I at least would have gotten to hear contract stuff, but I haven't yet because we're not even
know
close.
what's in my contract.
Exactly.
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting because in our other session of this group, the last time I was alone with the DM, I died. So I'm glad that didn't happen this time
Very true.
around.
He did.
This is true.
Thank you for your quote.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
Can he quote you on that?
Yeah, can I call you on that? Yeah, I'll sign it too.
Yeah. I really loved it, and I don't think this is spoiler territory, just because I want to like not confirm your guys' theories about the magistrate, but like like a lot of like say warlocks perchance, whenever they get into deals and what that may be, there's always like, here's my contract, where it's like I sell my soul or something like that, and I wanted to like provide something that can be like substance for between like the signee and the contractor, and create this like, here's everything that like is laid out in the contract to be like, here's what I want, here's what I'm going to give you. What do you, and like to kind of get a little snippet of how that conversation went, where he's like, here's everything that I'm going to give you. And if you do these things, I will give you this thing. And then if you decide you have the option to amend any of this, but if you do, you might not get some of those things that I said. And that was the conversation that Brian was trying to figure out and be like, ah, shit, well, here's some things. And in that conversation, there was, you can mention the things that Brian was trying to fight for and get for making the deal, until you learned where he's like, actually, we don't need a deal. Here's free information.
Yeah. Am I?
Yeah,
You're allowed to. I mean,
if you want.
I think you're about to find out anyway. So
yeah, great.
I
think that's more fun
you'll see.
in game.
So I can add warlock to my class. Is that what you're saying? I can add.
No.
Multi-classing.
I'm
Yeah.
a hexblade.
Yeah, and as that happened, I was in Haven's room and I was playing with one of those doorstops.
Oh, yeah.
And I did that for the entire time they talked.
True.
Which was like,
like
a good
30
half
minutes,
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
we were just sitting in my room, and we actually got too loud at one point. I'm pretty sure we cut that part out. But we were like our walls are very thin here, so we were just like, we had been sitting there for like 2 hours, like 5 hours already recording, and we were all like at our wits' end, just being like, yeah, this is our time to finally socialize. And we were just like talking it all out and everything like that. It was fun.
Yeah. What did go on in Haven's bedroom?
Don't say it that way, Nicholas.
Yeah, you saying these walls are thin? Heat's playing with the dongle.
Candles were lit.
Oh God.
There were
Seabat
some.
was playing.
There was cool posters. I don't
There
know.
were cool
Yeah.
posters.
Yeah.
I have posters of dragons from D&D on my wall. It's pretty sick.
Ooh. And some
Yeah.
cool,
That's a brag or
Hey,
cool
anything.
band
No
posters
big- no
we
big-
talked
yeah.
about.
Got my mother signed stuff, which yes, I am a mother lover, and you should go support them because
I also love my
That's
mom.
nice.
Big mama's
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what they call their fans? They should.
Mama's boy.
Mama's boys.
Yeah.
They should.
That's
I don't
really
know.
good.
I don't.
That's
I
really
honestly. Do they have a name for their?
I don't know. I'm
Let's
also
get in
a Mother
contact
fan.
with them right now.
You're right. I'll book another VIP tour.
Guys, if you can
We'll
figure
tour
out
right next to him alongside.
Yeah, it's perfect. We'll be the opening act, 2 hours worth.
Yeah, 2
And then
hours of
we'll-
D&D,
they'll-
and then
they'll be our
straight
chaser.
into music. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaser. They're the chaser.
They're the chaser.
All right.
I would
So
never be as big as
I
Sophia was
chaser.
gonna say
That's
a
okay.
thing.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
if you
be the
can,
chaser
if you can
before it
figure
was
out
my
what Mother song is on Lycan's playlist, viewers, then I don't know, bonus points to you.
Crisp high five from the Heath Chase.
He will
No.
fly to your home.
I will be.
It's
I know
true.
where you live.
We can ship him.
He's
Yep.
like 50
With
cents
who?
a ship. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's actually they have a specific packaging system only for Heath.
They
I've-
pay
I've-
us to get rid of him.
Yep.
Oh.
Yes.
They only have to pay for my body and weight, like size and weight. You know what I mean?
Oh Lord.
And it's a perfectly shaped box.
It's perfect. I don't have to
Not
move.
allowed to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a coffin.
Ah.
But you have to stand the whole time.
Yeah.
You are vertical. You're not laid
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's talk more about
Han Solo.
Yeah.
Han Solo carbonite.
So actually, I'm reviewing some of my notes because I wrote down certain things that I wanted to ask for Arcane Recovery, and this is a really good like thing that came across my mind where it's like tone. And for you guys, I wanted to ask, like, how do you think this mystery is going, and what you're finding out, and what the differences that are between like Haven's first arc and then what you're trying to figure out in this arc. Yes.
For this arc, the mystery is super cool, and I've never felt like I'm so wrong about who I'm accusing, just because like we have pointers, but like in regards to how like this actual mystery is going and everything that we have, it's like speculation more than it is like an actual like, oh, it's definitely this person. Like we've got like I feel just like we're so incorrect, and that's why Brian has this longer contract, and that there might be some other things that we messed up on. And yeah, we're doing our best as investigators, I think.
It was actually Barry. He did it.
Barry. No,
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Oh no.
No.
I don't know why we switched to a raising hand system, but it did happen.
There we go.
I don't know. I had a thought.
I both within and slightly differing from what Adam said. Like I totally agree. It's so speculative, but it was really fun in a lot of ways because it felt like for so long that we knew nothing, we were getting nowhere, everything was bad, and I was like, we're so deeply cooked. And then
Everything
we had
went
that
crashing down all at once.
yeah, and then we had that conversation where we were actually putting shit together, and I was like, oh, it feels like that point in a mystery story. And I think that's a testament to you made really great clues, Nick, but also it feels way more real in that it is not super obvious, like, oh, it's the butler kind of thing. Like, because this world is so expansive and there's so many different things and point of views and moral compasses at play, it was both very satisfying to like finally be like, oh, okay, we know something, but also be like, we could still be totally off. But at least we made that goddamn report. Oh my god.
I feel like there's so much more. There's so much more. And I don't know what it is.
And what if it's just the magistrate wanting us to find a good reason that somebody else killed these people?
I
and it was
get, that's
actually
what
just
I'm
the
saying. I
magistrate?
think it's the dude who has devil horns who doesn't have devil horns who then gave it.
Tiefling ass.
Yeah. Well, like what's really like just to expand on that.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Raw. It was awesome. It was awesome.
I've been at this really weird mood since last night. I don't know why. We had like a kind of crazy fun but also like deeply stressful night. The junior class had a benefit concert for raising money for our senior showcase in New York, which was a super great idea, and a lot of it was fun, but we were also like battling tech the whole time, and I think it made everyone like a little insane.
Yes.
So
Most
still
definitely.
rubbing off on my mood.
You're all
But
good. It was awesome.
it was
Technology.
still great, but
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I have not let go of my like weird raw stim apparently.
Perfectly fine. It's a good stem.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say, man?
I was gonna say like to like add on to that is that I wanted to be very detail oriented and like kind of compared, like Haven and I talked about this, where like I play the long game for my campaigns.
Yes.
I love laying everything out and then you guys trying to find it, where like I know that Haven was explaining a bit where you just, or do you want to?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Nick and I were sitting down a couple days ago and we were just like reviewing and reflecting. I think it was on Friday. We were reviewing and reflecting across a bunch of different things because we like to make sure we like check in and see like, hey, like what's going on and stuff. And I confessed to Nick, I was like, honestly, I've been really frustrated. Because I'm just like, I am just somebody who like, I love these mysteries and that sort of stuff. And I feel like, and like, this is not a dig at like, it wasn't anything Nick did. It was just, we would go somewhere and we would find like one thing out and then it didn't actually deal anything with the thing. I was like, motherfucker, like, why are we going to these people who have no information? Like, it was like, I was getting frustrated, not at Nick, but just at the situation, because we were just continuing to like go to these places and find out things, but not case specific things. And we were talking about it and I was like, well, I am just more a streamlined person. Like, I like to be bam, 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 bam. That's just me. And I love to get to see the difference. But like we were talking about that, I as a person, I was just like, what is the information I need to know to figure out who it is? Because it drives me crazy.
And then whenever we went to the guard's place and they gave us all the people that died, I was like, oh my, what?
Yeah,
what have we been doing for the past 30 minutes? Oh my gosh, it was crazy. But I guess it has that form of realism with a case. Like, you're never going to just, like, you're not going to be like, okay, let me follow the crayon dotted map and go to this place and be like, hey, they gave me the exact thing I needed to hear and now I know who the killer is.
Yeah,
like,
and I think the frustrating part was just we are being our characters, which fucking rocks.
It does.
Like, and that's what that's the whole point of this show. So I think that it was frustrating because all of our characters are so not attentive to the case sometimes, like in the best way.
Oh yeah.
Like we're dealing with our own things, and that's awesome and cool. And that's, that's a very our group thing.
Mhm.
And it really shows you, and why I love getting to see this stuff, and why I love that we're investigators, that like our title is investigators, but are we really investigators? You know
We're,
what I
like,
mean?
Building
No,
our way up.
I was thinking about this because, like, none of us really, the closest anyone has to experience in this kind of thing was maybe Alcador being a sort of guard kind of person. Like, none of us know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's really fascinating and really cool. And also, like, oh my god, why did Riker hire us? Because what the fuck? We don't know what's happening. But that's kind of fun because I think in a lot of D&D campaigns, like, everyone's like, oh, we're adventurers and this is what we do and we're good at it and whatever. And we've been given a title and we're like, God, we're not qualified for this.
Yeah.
We were gonna climb the wizard's tower.
Oh, Loroakin.
So true.
Yeah.
We literally just fought Loroakin last night.
Really?
Very good, yeah. Kicked his ass real fast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Push over.
It did. Yeah.
It's Baldur's Gate River.
But yeah, actually, yeah, no, but that reminds me of, like, for the Wizard Tower, where what, like, a good fascination that I had was, like, the difference between you guys interacting with Magister Zevich Dragorum, where there's like I said, back to tone, it is like entirely different. Where on one hand, hey, this is a really cool magic conjuration school where there's like these floors that go to these different demi-planes of space, and you're learning how to summon and interact with the elements for conjuration magic. And it's led by this, like, you know, like this archmage. And it could, like, on one side, it could have like a Hogwarts or a Strixhaven feel to it.
Mhm.
But then on the other side, for you guys as investigators, where it's involved in a murder mystery, where it's like, this guy is sus as fuck. He's bad. So I thought it was, like, really interesting of, like, just perspective
Mhm.
on the difference between that, and how opinionated everyone is, where like, whenever there's resistance to you guys trying to get information, you're just like, ooh, he's suspicious. Where like the difference is, like, those frustrating moments where you guys go do the Book of Fate and you find out it was a flub, and you're just like, well, we got nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Yeah.
just immediately kind of like abandoned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's. Can I talk about the dwarf thing that we were talking about earlier? Just a
Oh, yeah,
little.
yeah.
I won't go in depth. We were talking about the dwarves and how you guys. Who was it that went to go see the dwarves? I think it was Leo, Lycan, and
Mhm.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were like, I was talking about it with Nick, and we were like saying, like, you guys went there, and this was before we went and like started trying to solve like okay, what's the actual pattern between all these deaths?
Yeah.
And in those moments, like, as a player, I tune out. I mean, I'm listening so that I know general things for DMing purposes, but I try and tune out as much as possible so that Nissa knows nothing going on, so that I can't accidentally metagame. And you guys went there when we were in that mindset of, oh, we got to figure out who wanted to kill Orin. Why was Orin important? What was everyone's connection to Orin specifically? Like, we were all on that.
Mhm.
And then Nick and I were talking, and we were talking about this one thing, and Nick brought up the fact that that we knew because of the book.
Mhm.
Are you okay if I go on this?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't explicitly said, but there's a lot of context for it.
Well, we knew because of the book
Mhm.
that Orrin wrote that the dwarves were there on a research trip.
Yeah.
And we never asked them what they were researching.
Oh, bother.
Yeah. And also in the book as well, it said that that Glasses went to the Pillar to teach classes. And for you guys,
the classes.
the classes.
yeah.
And for you guys, you
Good
know
bars.
that since it's a school for only conjuration magic, so, like, context clues, maybe they're conjuration wizards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like, and that's something that we can look into, and I've been planning to want to look into,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, we didn't ask about what they're researching.
I mean, I'm gonna be so honest. That book was in one year out the other.
No,
Yeah.
and I get it completely.
So-
Same thing. I only knew because I went back and read it.
Yeah.
And that was the like because I can't absorb while we're like reading that sort of stuff, and that's why we did the whole Gabe taking over thing. But.
Oh yeah. And it goes back to those really minor details that I left. Like whenever like you guys had that aha moment whenever I gave out the pamphlet and the corrective tariff act was finally enacted, and then like you guys remember like, oh wait, well that little pamphlet that what the the Telona Goshen Watchguard handed to McGundren to be like, here you go. And it was just like a small little detail that I mentioned to be like, oh, well, that's what that was.
And I think it's just a testament to how much Nick really does put stuff in our hands. And I'm not saying it was bad that you guys didn't catch that. I didn't catch it until literally talking with Nick.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy that that's the case.
Yeah. So for Sophia, if you want, as a murder mystery expert yourself, how well am I doing?
Oh, I think you're doing great. There's just a lot of data to keep track of. So, I mean, I don't think I've solved it by any means. I have lots of theories.
Yeah.
And I don't want to share all of them for fear of one of them being right and then spoiling your awesome story. So,
no.
But I have several different branches of theories in my notes.
I like it. Whenever we're done with this arc, I'd like to hear like all the theories.
Not all of them are strong theories. Some of them are like, he seems suspicious.
Good notes.
Yeah.
This guy,
he seems
sketchy.
stinky.
This guy's sus.
Yeah.
Don't like him.
But
Throw
sure,
him
I
away.
can definitely share with you later. Yeah, I think you're doing great.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Sometimes it's information overload, but that's maybe just more me and getting
That's
late in
definitely
the
me
day.
too. I have a hard
But-
time. I have a funny enough. I have a learning disability where it makes it really hard for me to process information.
Huh.
So sometimes whenever we were going through the book, I'm like, not gonna lie, don't remember anything from the book. Zero things from the book. Whenever we were reading it, I was like,
We do have the text version though on Discord,
so that helps
Yeah.
a lot. Having it typed in the Discord helps a lot. I just have in the moment a hard time remembering certain information.
Absolutely.
So like I do my best to try to write as fast as I can with all the information and try to be like, okay, let me try to make the links here.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's my brain processes things slower than other people a lot of times.
But I mean, like, our characters are also in the same position
Absolutely.
we are.
Yeah.
And like I just talked about, we're investigators in title, but we're learning how to do this.
Yeah.
And there's no way that our characters would necessarily catch everything. So it's okay that we don't.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and listen, I was not digging on any of them.
Oh,
No.
I was
No, yeah.
Like I just wanted that to be clear.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think any of us interpreted it.
I think Lycan's preoccupied with the conflict with Gale right now, and so
Fair.
would be
Yeah.
distracted.
Gail's
so.
preoccupied with a lot of things.
Leo's like, this is deeper than drugs. Oh god.
Whoa. There's a quote. Slap it on a t-shirt.
deeper than drugs.
Deeper than drugs.
Oh gosh.
Well, speaking of the characters and what our growth has been, going back, like I listened to episode 1, and it is honestly, I know we talked about another Arcane Recovery of like the growth of our characters, how and like ideas of it, but like actually listening to how everyone was when we started like figuring out who our characters were, and then in episode 1 where it's like, where one of the moments that stuck out to me where like the very first moment there was with Lycan where you healed me to come back up, and then after the fight you were like, hey Gail, you wanna I can heal you if you want, here's a flower, and Gail's like, sure, let me just put on my tongue a little taste, and Lycan's like, haha, tricked you, nothing happens.
No, that's so funny.
That was
Sophia
so
just realized
silly.
she like went over there and was like, okay, yeah, I'll check off my tier slot. Oops, I don't have any left. Well, practical joke. And then it's kind of turned into a facet of her personality, and I think it makes sense.
Mhm.
In some ways, it's just her trying to be close
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah, but it was such a like weird moment to be like, wow, we're at a different stage of life in this podcast for our characters.
Yeah. Jeez. What?
Yes, Jake.
What?
No, nothing. Don't worry.
No, would you
Jake's
like
been
to share
Jake's
with
been
the class?
scrolling through
No.
memes on
Jacobson
Discord
Taylor.
this whole time.
Jacobson?
He's been just looking at memes this whole time on Discord.
Jacob.
I think Keith is
I
too.
just called you Jacob, and that was weird for me.
Into the
gifts
Discord.
back and forth to each other in our private DMs.
And that's why neither of you fuckers have been talking.
Well, there was a moment where I was
What are
looking.
they so
I looked
silent
at
about?
Heath's laptop, and then I saw like this maybe silicone jiggly face thing, and it was just like there. And I'm like, what is Heath looking at right now?
It says cope, and it's like it's
You know what you should have
silicone
pulled?
face and
You should
someone
have pulled
just
the class
messing with
teacher
it.
like, and what's your answer on that? And they'd be like, what? Two.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, if you guys want to see, I'll turn my laptop around.
No.
Oh boy. Oh. Oh.
Oh,
What
oh,
you've done.
oh.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
One of them is just gorillas fighting each other.
I laughed because the most recent one I sent didn't send as a GIF. It is sent as like a video you had to play. And I was like, no, that's not what I wanted to do.
Oh god.
Yeah. Well,
Good morning.
I hope we've recovered. Yeah. Good morning, indeed. It's not good night.
Good
Yeah.
morning, good evening, and good night.
Yes. Well, here we go. This is the start of our day, and let's get into these episodes, guys.
Oh, yeah. Exciting things.
I fucked up
planned.
all my dice.
And
Wait,
you
don't,
deserve
don't end it yet.
Oh, why?
Gotta say your thing.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. I was getting the script.
Yeah, say your thing.
Say your thing.
Say the thing.
Everybody
Hey.
boo this motherfucker.
That is truly my new favorite bit.
Remind me about that after we're done recording because I want to say something.
It's a good bit.
That is so funny. I love that bit. But actually, as he's trying to find his script, Nick has been looking back through the different episodes because he's giving me timestamps so that I can create more stuff for social media stuff. To
I'm
make
getting
things
help.
to make things easier. And the one I just edited was the Elven song and the Elven intro into it, and it's really cool because even as a DM, I forgot that I knew we did it, but it just left my mind because that wasn't the focus. And it's really I'm not gonna say what, but I was just talking with Sophia a couple days ago about something that we're gonna attempt to start doing. It doesn't directly fit in with that per se, but it's interesting to see where I'm headed with some of my story whenever I take back over. And it was cool to get to go back and see some of that stuff and be like, oh, I forgot that this was a cool thing that's going to then continue to evolve throughout time. And I'm really excited for it because I went on Friday. I actually took off work because I was very, very tired.
Truth.
And I needed a break day, and I was planning to use that day as a social media day. I actually ended up using the next day because I sat down and randomly had 30,000 thoughts about what to do with Arc 3. And then I was texting Sophia about some plans of what I wanted to imagine and think of. And I was like, my God, it's really interesting because if you don't know, Nick and I have claimed certain people's backstories.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick kind of is focusing on, if you haven't been able to tell, is focusing on Gael right now and Brian.
I didn't know that.
And obviously Nissa, because I can't do Nissa's backstory and that I would not want to do Nissa's backstory. But then I'm more covering Lycan, Leo, and and Elxidor, and then we both kind of share Sig's stuff right now. So I'm not going to say what, but there's some cool stuff coming with Leo and Lycan, and I'm really excited to start talking about that and start talking about all that shit.
Yeah, we haven't seen Rathul for a while.
We haven't.
Since he's
This is
not
true.
today, Sig.
He's chilling.
Is that the only line we've heard from Rathul so
No,
far?
we've heard.
No, he
No,
tried to
yeah.
eat me.
Okay.
He tried to eat me.
Yeah, he
Not
tried,
in a
he tried, he
while.
tried,
Oh,
he
yeah,
did
yeah,
try
yeah,
to
yeah.
kinda
Not
eat
There
much
have
this
been-
arc. He's been quiet.
He's been very quiet.
Yeah, he ain't fucking with the magistrate and whatnot, so he's been
The magistrate.
he's been hiding and shit. He also every other place I go into in this district, he's like, I don't fuck with people. I'm sitting in the back.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. Well, everyone, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay warm, stay safe, stay dry because it's a little rainy today. So we'll see if it's rainy when this episode airs. But stay chaotic. Keep everyone on their toes and don't let them know your next McDonald's order.
That's the script?
Until next time, be careful adventuring. If you're tired, come back home.
Did you say
I was wondering, I was like, did we change it?
Yeah, he did by accident.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
No, wait, I just said it right.
Stay safe.
Idiot!
Idiot!